Yes friends, as part of this session, let us understand about remaining methods of our object class. What are those? Wait overloaded method, and other one is notify all methods. Okay, as part of this session, let us understand all of those overloaded methods of wait and notify all methods also. Okay, so here what are those methods? Wait method, okay, wait, and which throws interrupted exception, getting interrupted exception. And we are having wait method having argument as long milliseconds, which also throws interrupted exception. And you are having one more wait method having long milliseconds and int nanoseconds, which also throws interrupted exception, friends. Okay, and this method, only this wait method having argument as long milliseconds is having the modifier as native. Okay, it's having the modifier as what? Native. That is, it's the native method. Okay, it is the native method. And all these methods, that is 3 overloaded methods, available as part of our class called object. Okay, now this is also void and it is just public, and this one is also public. Only this method is what? Native method, public void, getting. And now we are having other 2 methods. What are those? Notify method, notify all. Okay, up here. Okay, public native, getting native void. What is that? Notify method, public native void notify all method. Now observe here why and when we have to use these methods. Simple thing, observe. If you want to enable thread communication, that is, if there are more than 2 threads or more than 1 thread in our application, then if you want to make those threads getting communication, if there are more than single thread in our application, like what? T2 extra thread. Okay, so more than this T1 thread, if you are having T1 or T3, like that, so many threads are available means, and to enable communication between each and every thread, to enable communication between each and every thread, we have to go for these methods. Okay, we have to go for these methods. And one important thing before we go and understand about this example is one thing. Observe here, if a method is declared as a synchronized, if a method is declared as a synchronized, can a thread execute that method without acquiring the lock of that object? If a method, observe here, public void, public synchronized, okay, public synchronized, return type is just void. Okay, public synchronized, void m1, okay, void m1 method having some sort of implementation, and think that there is one thread. This thread wants to execute this method. Does it execute this method directly? Number 1, it cannot execute this method without acquiring lock of an object, lock of an object, that is, in which class this method is available, that class corresponding object lock this thread should acquire. Understand my point? If a thread wants to execute this method, okay, observe one thing. Okay, if this thread wants to execute this m1 method, how you can access the methods? First, let me know one point from you guys. Okay, observe here. This is what? Class A. Getting? Int I equals to 99. Now public void m1 method, just the void m1 method, no synchronized, don't get confused. Okay, just m1 method. Okay, now we SOP of high. Getting? SOP of what? High. Now within public static void main string array method, create an instance for A. What is the meaning for this particular statement? What's the meaning for that particular statement? Simple thing. What is that? Even you guys are aware of that. What is that? There will be memory occupation because of new operator and because of constructor execution. This I will be part of object, right? Yes or no? Yes. And this A will refer this object. Yes, right? Yes. Is there anything other than this at this memory to do? Is there any other things to do at this memory? Meaning is internally JVM is going to perform any other thing to the object at runtime. If it is creating an object, one thing. Now let me tell, okay, we are having something more than this. There is some more work which is done by the JVM at this part. Okay, there is more than this one. I mean, it has done some work. Okay, which we are going to discuss. Okay, now observe here how to access I variable. You are at this position, meaning is what? You are at this position. Now you want to enter into this object. Getting? You want to access that. How to access it? Observe. SOP of A dot I. Getting? SOP A dot I. So the output is what? Output is what, friends? 99. Now let me know one thing. How to access this method? That is m1 method. M1 is instance or static method? It is purely instance method, not a static method. Getting? Now observe here. Now how to access m1 method? What is that? A dot m1. Mister, this is A dot and this is also A dot. What is this m1? Where is this m1? Where you have written this one? Let us do that one also. How JVM do that work. Okay. Now that will get associated with the created object. What is a created object? A. So here you will have public void m1 method with implementation as what? High. Getting? With implementation as what? High. That's why A dot m1, you are calling A dot m1 and you are accessing that particular object. Even this also will be done by JVM. Getting, guys? That's why A dot m1, of course it is true, by using this reference only you can call instance method, right? So within the static array, if you want to call m1 method, you have to access that one in this way. So meaning is what? At runtime along with the object, these methods also will get associated. Okay. Now observe. Now observe. Can I call SOP of A dot hash code? Of course. Can I call A dot hash code? Yes, mister, we can call. Why? This class by default child to which class? Object class, and moreover it is direct child. Why? Because it doesn't extend any class. Okay, so by default it is child class to object class. Whatever object class having, that will be available directly to the child through inheritance feature in our Java. Now object class is having one method called as hash code. Getting? Hash code. Now this implementation is available to this class also. Getting? Now here that method is static or instance method. It is purely instance method. No static keyword is available within the object class for this hash code method. Getting? For this hash code method, even that method also available to this class. Now observe, a dot hash code. Hello mister, you are calling a dot hash code without knowing to us. We might be writing this code. Okay, what is this? A dot hash code. A dot, if it is not being associated with object, can we call that method in this way? No, you cannot call. Please agree this. Okay, please. Okay, so even that method also will be associated, even that method implementation also will be associated with this current underlying object. Now SOP of a dot to string, a dot to string, can I call? What is this? Once again the same thing. A dot to string, a dot to string, even a dot to string, I mean to string method implementation of object class is available to this child. Meaning is what? Even that method implementation also available with this object. Getting? So meaning is what? Even parent class instance methods also will associate with the object. Please believe me. Okay, so because of that only you are calling. Without that, can you a dot to string, it's useless telling that going to object class and bringing. No, at runtime itself it will get associate here. How you are calling a variable? A dot I, the same thing. Even here also it will get associate. It will load all the method implementations at runtime whenever you are creating the object. Meaning is what? Instance methods all will get associate with the object. Okay, now observe, same thing I am going to use here. Okay, now is this method public synchronized void m1 method static? Did I put any static here? No static. It is what? A instance method. Now that method also will get associate with whom? With whom? This underlying object. Okay, void m1 method having some implementation. Okay, having some implementation. In order to execute this synchronized method, a thread should acquire a lock of this object, and there will be only one lock for each and every object. Okay, for each and every object. Okay, now think that this T2 is executing this method. Getting? T2 is executing this method. Okay, now T2 is at this part. Okay, sorry, T1 is executing. Okay, T1 is executing this particular m1 method after acquiring the lock. So T1 thread is executing m1 method after acquiring the lock. Now at this position or at this line of code, one more thread T2 has come. T2 wants to execute a synchronized method related to this object. Okay, and there will be only one lock, right? Now this T1 thread acquired a lock of a object and it is executing. Still it is at middle. Now T2 thread come. Okay, it has come here. It wants to execute that method. Can it execute now? No, because first you should acquire the lock. Observe my terminology. To execute synchronized method. Okay, what is that? Observe here. To execute synchronized method, getting method by a thread, getting by a thread. First they, that is thread, getting first thread should acquire the object lock. Getting? First object lock must be available and that should be acquired by thread to execute a synchronized method. This T1 thread acquired the lock. Getting? Now lock was not at all available here. Okay, only one lock is available. It is available with T1. Now it is at middle state. Now T2 has come. It wants to execute M1 method, which is synchronized method. Can it execute now? No. This T2 has to wait until getting this T1 reaches this part and releases the lock. Okay, think that now T1 has executed and it has completed the execution and it released the lock. Getting it released the lock and that lock was available with the object. Getting now this T1 is in waiting state right earlier. Now it will come and it will acquire the lock. Now that lock is available with whom? With T2. Getting that lock is available with T2. Now that person, that is second thread, T2 thread, will come and will execute the synchronized method. Getting observe here, association, very specific thing. Most of we will do commit mistakes. How you are accessing a dot I? Like that only. Along with this object, these method implementations are associated. That's why a dot m1, a dot hash code, a dot toString. If you don't believe me, just let me compile this piece of code, and that too what I am doing here, within static method I am accessing. Getting, and within instance area you can access other instance members, no issues. But can you execute them? No. Even to execute here, if you are using here SOP of what, just what is that, hash code method. How to execute m1 method within a static area? Once again, you want to create a instance and you have to call a dot m1, then only it executes. Observe me, you might be getting doubt. I don't want to call them within the static area, I want to execute them within the instance area. Like that, the doubt. Okay, and that scenario also, to execute m1 method, what you have to do? You have to do what? Create an object. On that object reference only you have to call. Getting, and if you are calling this m1 method, now this method will be executing. Here hash code method is there. Now on which object, that is from which object this hash code method implementation will be taken, means this object only. Observe, this somewhat an internal thing and a bit complicated thing to understand. Okay, now let me do those things. Okay, let me comment this one first. Try to understand this one. Okay, it will help you a lot. Okay, please observe. First let me compile this one. Okay, just a minute. Okay, observe here. Okay, observe here. Let me take the class called A, getting, which is having one instance member I. Getting, class A having one instance member int I equals to 99. Now take what is that? Public void m1. It's having an implementation as what? System.out.println. What is this? Hi. Now public static void main string args method. Now how to access high variable? You have to create an instance. A equals to new A. Now on this reference called a dot I, so you will get the output as what? 99, right? Observe here. Okay, for the source code file name, it is test.java. Okay, now Java C, test.java, compile successfully. Now load main method class name, it is what? Capital A. Okay, Java space A. Yes, done. Now observe here. Okay, we have got the output as what? 99. Okay, now observe here. Okay, now I want to access this m1 method, which is instance. How to access that one? A dot m1. If that one is not associated with this object having a reference variable as A, can you access that one? You cannot. That's the meaning of this one. Okay, that's the meaning of this one. Try to understand this one with maturity. Okay, you can feel very comfort in it. Okay, observe. So a dot m1 means then only I can access the method. Can I access this one directly like m1 method? No, you will get compile time error as what? Non-static method. What is that? m1 cannot be accessed from static context or area. Observe here. Okay, non-static method cannot be accessed referenced from static context. Okay, so the valid call is what? A dot m1. Now 99 followed by I is the answer. Observe here, okay. 99 followed by I is the answer, okay. Now, getting, now can I call here hash code method like this, SOP of hash code? Yes, you can call. Observe here, directly can I call hash code? No, you will get once again compile time error. Observe here, just the hash code. I am going to write just the hash code. Observe, just the hash code. Let me comment these two statements, okay. Now observe this perfectly, okay. What is this? A dot hash code, okay. Now just take out this a dot, okay. Now observe here, same compile time error. Observe here, non-static cannot be called or referenced from static context. Getting, guys? So meaning is what? Even this hash code method is associated with this object. Getting? That is referred with small a. Getting? So that's why you have to call that one a dot hash code. Observe this, remember this pictorial representation. Getting? You can refer at any session. I will be going in this way only, okay. You can make that one as an advantage, okay. Now what I have to put here? A dot hash code. Getting? Now observe here, okay. Let me compile and let me run. One integer number, which is a return value of hash code. And observe here, let me take toString method. Now can I take directly toString here? No, you cannot take. Of course, it is having some implementation related to object class. Getting? What is object class toString method implementation? What is object class toString method implementation? Return. What is that? Get class dot get name. Getting? Appending a literal width and converting the hash code to hexadecimal value. Getting, guys? So this is what our toString method implementation within object class. So that's why when you created this object through inheritance, these method implementations associated with object. Getting? This knowledge is important to understand multi-threading, this wait notify. Sure question, if you go for any MCs, getting, they will give one code and they will ask you to write the thread communication. Getting? They will to write the code using thread communication. That time you have to use these 5 methods only. Observe. So now you will get the output here as what? What is that? A at some hash code within hexadecimal value. Let it be 16ABC. Observe here, okay. Observe that part. Now